Okay. All right, here we go. So today's lesson is called Simple Interest. And your objective today is we are going to calculate simple interest and the total value of an account after a period of time. I understand and can apply, I, which is for interest, understand and comply the equation, interest equals PRT. So I is interest, P is principal, R is rate, and T is time. So that's what that stands for. So interest equals principal times the rate times the time. So that's what those mean. Okay? So when we use this equation, most of the time it deals with bank loans, meaning that you have, or your parents have taken some type of a loan out, whether it is a car loan or a loan for a house, but somewhere there has been a loan taken out and you're going to pay it back a certain months. Okay? All right. So the first one says, Big Money Bank loans $12,000 to Carlotta. This initial amount borrowed is called the principal. Carlotta has to repay the loan to the bank at a rate of 5.5%. Simple interest per year over 8 years. So there's my rate and there's my time. What is the total amount of interest she will have to pay on her loan? Find the amount of simple interest that Carlotta must pay after 1 year. So simple interest, which is I, equals the principal, which is P, we've talked about, times the interest rate, which is R, and then usually times time. All right, so how much did she borrow? She borrowed $12,000, so that's what we're going to put here. She borrowed it at a rate of 5.5%. So remember, to convert that 5.5%, if I divide by 100, I get 55,000. So that's what we're going to put here. Okay? And so we're going to multiply the 12,000 times the 5,500 to figure out what are they going to pay for 1 year. Times 0.055. So $660 is the amount of interest that they are going to pay in 1 year. So even though they only paid $12,000 or borrowed $12,000, they're paying an additional $660 a year. So that's why if your parents tell you when you get older don't get a credit card, it's because you're going to end up paying a lot of interest on credit cards. Okay? All right. So we know. Did you say something? No? All right. So we know that it's $660 for 1 year. We know that she's borrowing it for 8 years. So in 8 years, she is going to have to pay an additional $280. Yes, absolutely. So not only is she going to have to pay the $12,000 back, she now has to pay an additional $5,280. So $5,280.
Miss Lavelle?
Yes.
Is algebra class?
No.
Oliver, get in class right now. Oliver, get online. Yep. Mama wants us online right now.
That's right. He should be online. He should know. Set a timer in his phone. Okay. So the turn and talk says, before she took out her loan, A different bank offered Carlotta a 12% loan at 5% interest, but it was over 9 years. So would the cost that he just logged in? So would that loan cost Carlotta more interest or less? So now we got to figure it out, right? So first thing I got to do is do the 12,000 times the percent. So what do I get? So 12,000 times 0.05. So $600 a year. So a little bit less a year, but what is she doing? Instead of 8, she's paying what?
9 years.
Uh-huh. So she's paying a little bit longer. So we're going to take that 600 and we're going to multiply it by 9. So she would end up paying $5,400 in interest. So which one is the better loan? The first one, isn't it? So the first loan is better because she would pay $120 less in interest. And she also doesn't have to pay another 12 months either, right? So also less months. So she pays a little bit more interest per year, but in the long run, it's less interest and less months. Okay, so those are things that you have to consider when you start taking out loans. Okay, am I good? Can I move on? Anybody have any questions?
Miss Lavelle?
Yes.
I didn't know. What I didn't know is when you buy a credit card, I didn't know you had to pay interest thing.
Yep. Any type of loan, a credit card is considered a loan. It's not considered free money.